So the library is for Garifuna, by Garifuna, or about Garifuna.
Yeah.
And so we will turn it over to
We will
Mr.
start you here. This is what our house is. Look, can you get closer?
For real, for real.
Right. That's what our houses looked in the 17th, 18th, 19th, right?
Who made all this?
Well, it was Mr. Ruben, the founder,
Yeah.
who put them together.
And some volunteers like Cynthia.
And if you go to certain parts of Belize, you will still find houses.
Barranco!
Well, you go Barranco, right? Hopkins,
Mascalmo,
right?
La Buga.
You'll find them there.
La Bulga!
Right.
Yes!
Omoa.
Honduras!
I've seen those.
Right. Then I want to direct you then to
Collection.
right different books. Again, we have always been thinking of preserving the culture. So that's why we have different books doing that work. We have there, who's that man again?
I'm sorry, Justo
Justo Flores, a linguist. He was serious about it. He wrote several books putting the Garifuna language
Yes.
together. Right.
His Eminence, I'll put him on the spot for a little bit. Where did you grow up?
Barranco.
And where did your parents take you? And could you speak a little bit of your Maya knowledge and how you learned Maya?
Right.
This is important.
What's happening, His Excellency? I can speak Ekchi, Iwutagwa, what do you want? Aniakaba, what's your name? I can also say that in Garifuna, Kabiri.
Kabiri.
Right, what's your name? Haliagedi, where do you come from? So I can do all of those. With most Garifuna people, they can speak 3 languages.
Oh, yeah.
Some up to 5. Any language spoken in Belize, they can speak it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a gift by itself.
Mhm.
As a result of that now, they became the best
Yeah, you were
teachers.
telling me, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And we will discuss that in the Hero's Rule.
Excellent.
So
Okay.
that's what these guys did. Wrote different books preserving the culture.
This is amazing.
Right.
So Cynthia, when I was there, did we support kind of a language, not a school, but classes in Garifuna?
Perhaps what you did was support the museum, Belize
Belize.
Museum,
Yeah, yeah.
where
okay.
that was the school.
Yeah, the school, I went to a
Garifuna.
function, there's
Yes,
a big
yes.
monument.
Yes,
right
yes,
there,
yes, yes,
and
yes,
you're
right
getting
beside.
into,
You have a good memory,
Nagriga,
Excellency.
Nagriga,
And,
yeah.
and the beauty of this museum, the vision that we have, is to develop, to give support and to develop networks
Yeah,
all around wherever Garifuna people
Yeah.
are. And this is a model to develop.
Yeah.
We have in Belize developing museums, and we think that you or this country can provide us with a lot of technical assistance
Mhm.
because you've been doing this.
yeah.
So this would be a
You know who you have to have come here is the new ambassador, Michelle Kwan. She's from Gardena.
where is she?
Really?
Torrance, Gardena.
Yes.
It's
They're
down,
neighbors.
down the street.
Yeah, you can connect us. Eminence, please connect us.
Yeah.
You have the keys for that.
Okay. Well, I'm sure she's gonna call me, because you always call the previous ambassador.
Exactly. That's what happened because the ambassador before you, Tunamapali,
Yeah,
he was very good to us in Belize.
yeah,
He and his wife.
yeah.
And then I said, Ambassador, before you are so good, before you leave, please make sure that you introduce me to the other. He said, no problem.
Yeah.
He said, you see my drawer here? I have your address, your name in this drawer. And you did when I did
Yeah.
meet
Oh,
you.
yeah,
He pulled out the drawer and there was so
yeah.
you have a drawer to pull out.
Yeah. That ambassador, Vinay Pimalopoli, also, he roomed with President Obama
Really?
at Occidental College.
Who is that? Tunamapali?
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, to the Eminence Manapali, they're so good. What I love about them, they went in, well, like you too.
Yeah.
They went into the community, and I'm not saying it just because you're here.
Yeah.
They went and they visited the
Everywhere.
projects everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
And I would like a connection with him because he was very into entrepreneurial development.
Yes.
And he supported credit union. Because I remember the Credit Union League, he and I were the keynote speakers for their convention.
Okay.
We sure were, and he supported young people a lot.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that he did was he would invite us to the residents, the US residents, he and his wife, and invite the young people.
Good.
And he would say, well, Cynthia, you speak. I want to introduce Cynthia. And then I had to shut up my mouth because he's the one who did all the talking about the work that we
Good
did.
guy.
Beautiful, thank you.
So that was a Los Angeles connection.
Yeah, beautiful.
I was on the Los Angeles connection. And now
Wow.
Michelle, you know, with Torrance, it's just,
And we're looking forward with them.
Yeah.
So we'll do the connection.
Yeah.
Now, Your Excellency, I remember it being doing just like that in Barranco.
Okay, where's the
However,
picture? Where's the picture?
I was arrested, you know, for being like that, you know. We can't do that no more.
It's good.
Well, you were talking about the canoe and the dory, that type of
yeah.
thing. So what they were depicting, Ruben took this picture in 2008. It's actually it is showing that the Garifuna people right now, after Chief Satuye, there's no more chief.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own group and then they get together.
Yeah.
So they're going to get this into the ocean. There's no particular leader, but they all as Garinagu are going to get it accomplished.
I want to say a little about Barranco because when I was called by they say ancestors, so Garifuna spirituality is very important. I was in Barranco with the support of his brother. We have a place called Dabuyeba, which is like our Garifuna church center. And the young people would come to me all the time. And I would ask them, what it is you would like to see in Barranco? And they say, library and a health center. Right? And you know what these young people did? They actually, there was a little room in Barranco where they went and they started to renovate the room in anticipation of their library. I was so impressed. And they started to clean the health center. So what that showed me is that the spirit of these young people is so strong.
Yes.
They are not just going to ask, they are willing to make it happen.
Right.
And that's a spirit. You have very young people in Barranco and very old people, and that middle group, a lot of the people are outside, either in Belize or outside of the country. So I would like to see like when I went to San Diego, one of the vision that I have is a people to people children connection. Like with schools and people here connecting with children around the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if that's a conversation we could have, I went to high tech. They invited me. I was telling Ambassador that I was invited as a Garifuna woman. They interviewed me virtually because of the shows that we do with the Garifuna Nation. And when they heard that I was here in Los Angeles, they invited me to San Diego. So I would like to see that connection.
Sure.
You know, I spoke with Janice. Janice said, they said, we want to know how you make cassava bread. Seriously, they ask. We want to know what you do with cassava.
Yeah.
So I connected with Janice. She makes cassava bread right here in Los Angeles.
True.
In Compton.
Compton,
Yes.
And they are connecting.
That's
So
great.
possibly then she would be able to, you know, we could have, these are people to people
Sure.
connections, you know,
Yeah.
that are very, very important.
I wanted to say that even though when we were exiled, we were Honduras and Guatemala, but Belize is holding our culture up.
That's right.
That's our
Yeah.
center.
That's
So
right.
we have a dictionary there from Roy, if you want to point it out.
Sure.
Roy Cano is bilingual, so it's Garifuna and
This one here.
it's Garifuna and
Spanish.
no,
They're
Garifuna
not
and English.
right?
And then the bigger one
Another
there,
one
that's
is
from Ruben, that's
Original
trilingual.
Spanish and English.
And
Trilingual.
Garifuna.
Right.
Okay, can I
Yes.
move with this word right now? Can everybody?
Yes, please.
And I would like,
Sure.
paper. I would like, paper. I would like ambassador.
Whatever the same.
You'll no figure, you'll just speak.
Oh, over there, okay.
And I will ask, to lead us this is Garifuna. We believe each of us is connected.
Yes.
And the little finger indicates that. So this song we sing is, we call it, it's the Abe Mahani, and it is a song of total surrender to whatever the calling is.
You be la baruwe hawon Azuguala lebahu seru Lida mua lida sumfalas Lida mua lida sumfalas.
That's just a little taste.
Oh my God.
You want a hug?
His Excellency, that was our father in Garifuna.
And it's
Father Nuestro.
beautiful total
I
surrender.
don't even have that in Belize. I had to come to.
So that's why I had to bring you here. It's a total surrender.
Yeah.
It's connectivity
Yeah.
to humanity.
Yes.
Garifuna, we say Garifuna duo, means that I'm not better than you, you're not better than me.
Yes. Yeah.
I for you, you for me. That's a Garifuna. And that's why, as a people, in spite of what we've gone through,
Yeah.
we connect with anybody, any culture, anywhere in the world. And that's why how when Annabelle and I met, El Pilar and Nehemiah was nothing strange for us.
Yes.
Go ahead,
You
sis.
want to do homage for TV
All right.
records?
When we look at the preservation of our culture, our recognition of our hard work, we have to look at Thomas Vincent Ramos. Born in Honduras, but lived in Belize, and he began to organize different things for our people. Again, after 1934, 1945 hurricanes, there was not, people were killed by the hurricanes.
Yeah.
So he organized groups. He called burial society. Whenever somebody dies, they will be there to help to bury.
Yeah.
So that is what he did. But beyond that, he developed other programs too, which helped the community. But finally, in 1941, he began to say, you know something? You are so important to Belize that we must recognize your day, your contribution to the country. The beginning of Garifuna settlement in 1941. Toledo was included in 1943. Then it moved on. He died in 1955. But the Garifuna celebration became nationwide in Belize in 1977.
Yes.
But that was just the beginning. Honduras followed. Guatemala followed with their day. In Honduras, they did April 12th, the arrival of Garinago to Rotan to Honduras, April 12th. In Livingston, Guatemala, they settled for November 26th.
Okay.
So you can see now how it spreaded, but it started with him. Right. That's the Jankono. Wadarago.
And so the drummer has to go with his beat. He commands the drummer's beat. Am I in the, okay. So we're gonna go to our last room.
Okay.
It's called
The Heroes.
Heroes Room.
Heroes Room.
So you now see all of these people have contributed a large to the Garifuna culture.
Would you like to have a seat?
I'll I'm okay standing up.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to be the only one sitting.
No problem.
Well, I'll sit down over
That's
there.
okay. No, it's okay. I'm fine.
So we have teachers. Here is a teacher I want you to look at, Salvador Daniels. He taught for 60 years in Belize. He taught all over the country. He taught my grandmother, he taught my mother, he taught my father. But by the time he came to me, he was too old, so I escaped. Right. This lady, Marcella Lewis,
Yep,
la Beata Lewis, Beata Lambert.
yep.
Again, she said, I am tired of praying only in English. I can also pray my language.
Yeah.
So she began to try and make her own
That's
prayers.
right.
Real, and that was what all of these men have done. That they-
Teachers.
right, teachers, right? A lot of them have done. This person here, notably, Narcissus.
You know Paulino, don't you?
Yeah,
I'm behind
I
you.
tried to get him to be it's okay, a consultant to the chief of police
Oh, really?
in Belize City. I said, you know,
Really?
there's a noted Belizean Paulino who's the chief of police in San Bernardino.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, I don't think he ever, is this taken here or down there?
That's true.
San Bernardino?
That, I believe that was in San Bernardino.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted him to
really?
come to Belize.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
He didn't want to come?
No, we never made the
Connection.
The
connection.
connection.
Yeah,
Cause he comes through here every now and then.
okay.
So Narcissus, a known mental health worker from Honduras, he really literally worked with mental patients.
Yeah.
And they came from all over the world to his facility in Honduras.
Wow.
He used herbs, he used oils, he used different things, and they were healed. Right. And again, I want to direct you to our doctor, Dr. Luther Castillo, founder of a hospital, Garifuna Hospital. So there he is. He went to study in Cuba on a scholarship. Then he said, guess what? Then later on, Harvard University invited him over. Guess what? Come and study. So later on, he said, I am going to develop our own health center
Yeah.
in that area. And he did extremely well. So he recruited a lot of doctors to join him. So now we have a hospital in Honduras.
In Honduras.
Right.
Supported by people like Danny Glover.
Exactly.
Glover and they were to tell us the ex-mayors in California.
Mhm.
And they still go there and give that support. We don't have a credit union, anybody. Silas.
No.
Okay, one of the people here in Simone Biles
Yes.
is related to this person who pioneered credit union development in Belize.
Oh. And I missed her just by a few months. She came to Belize.
Really?
Well, I left January of 2017,
Okay.
but I know she vacationed there.
Yes, she does. Yes,
by,
she does.
Cause I think her grandparents and,
Yeah, yes, they live here in the United States.
yes, yeah.
And I also direct you to, we are big on education in Belize. All right? And these are products of the education leaders, church leaders. They became local managers, general managers of schools.
Yes.
And sisters run the schools and things like that. So, there.
Sister Barbara Flores is here, right?
uh,
Okay, Sister Barbara Flores.
right.
She, when we had, so many of the schools in Cayo are run by Garifuna teachers and principals, right? And I always remember her because the BEL had destroyed 70 trees for the school garden in Santa Familia.
Hmm.
And as a manager of schools, Sister Barbara connected BEL and told them they had to compensate us.
Mhm.
So
Great.
she's here in the United States as the head of the Sisters of Charity,
Charity
for the
right.
world.
Mhm.
And so she's very,
Provincial, Mother Superior.
very, very passionate
Fashion.
about environmental issues.
Okay.
So she and Annabelle are talking all the time.
And our two bishops,
Oh yes.
there's the bishops. Bishop Martin, who died about 3 years ago, I think. And now we have another bishop, Luther Castillo. Again, just to show you the influence of the Garifuna people.
Education,
Right,
yeah.
education, right.
So there are a number of people. There's a head of the defense
Mhm.
for Belize, BDF. Was at Garifuna. He lives in California now. Enriquez. Felix Enriquez.
Felix Enriquez, right.
Enriquez.
Yeah.
And then I heard one of my former, I think drivers or bodyguard is now, he replaced, he was elected to be a minister.
Really?
He replaced the big guy who owned the soccer team. I don't know if you remember him.
No.
Had a Hispanic last name.
Yeah.
So next time I go down there,
Well, I hope you're coming down quickly.
Yes.
enough.
Well,
This will
I
inspire
was
you.
supposed to go down last year and the year before.
Okay.
But with COVID, it just, everything just.
I
Yeah,
know.
what is that? Now finally, His Excellency, we have our cathedral there, our bishops there, but this is what we've had long before
Yeah.
Some of them
Christianity came to Belize. Right.
And it still looks like this. We still keep it like that.
And Mr. Janice can give you a whole rundown
That's like
because she stayed there for a while in
right
Morocco.
here, I stayed there.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what brought me here to the United States.
You know what I saw driving up here on, I guess we came up on Normandy. There was a Mennonite church
Really? Oh my
on
goodness.
Normandy just south of here.
Oh,
I
wow.
was shocked.
Interesting.
Then these are our different paintings. Some by Isaiah Nicholas, Benjamin Nicholas' son, a well-noted painter.
Hmm.
Right.
Did you know Pen Caetano?
I probably met him.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he
well, I
was-
did meet him. He
Yes.
has his
Yes,
studio
Artist.
in the
studio.
corner there, yeah.
That's right.
I visited
That's right.
him and his wife.
That's right. And then sometimes
Yes.
the US Embassy would have Person of the Month, and he was selected one time.
Yeah, his paintings are very expensive.
Well, very valuable.
Very valuable, yeah.
Who's that, Pen?
Pen
Oh
Caetano.
yeah, he's my buddy. He's
Yeah.
yeah, we grew up on 2-3 houses away.
Yeah.
And I still remember the first painting he saw.
And
Awesome.
what else? We have
Very
an
nice,
African American woman who she fell in love with Belize and came to Belize and Garifuna, and she lived in Damgrega,
Mhm.
and she nurtured Penn. She connected
Oh.
Penn with the Smithsonian Institute, brought him to libraries here, and like it just transformed him when she did that. And Dr. Beliginium, she transitioned in April. Then she also encouraged Garifuna artists, musicians to
Yeah.
come, right?
Yeah.
And she connected them with the New Orleans Jazz Festival.
Okay.
So it's this kind of people-to-people connections that
Yeah.
are very powerful because it allows our people to blossom as well, you know?
Yeah.
So I love the growth. Penn, just by looking at the art book, and just by going to the Smithsonian Institute gave him that propelled him, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Fantastic.
Beautiful.
So I just wanted to add, we have a young man named Edson Arsu, and he was in New York, and now I think he moved to Texas. Now, he was in the military, and the thing about the Garifuna signing up for the military, they put us under all different nationalities, Hispanic,
Yeah. Right.
Cuban,
Right.
whatever, American, whatever. So it took him 10 years. He went to the military department that allowed him 10 years to scour all the records of the Garifuna people
Wow.
and put them in a category of their
Yeah.
own. So we have the veterans, Garifuna Veterans of America.
Wow.
So I saw him on one of the Zoom.
That's right.
And that's how I connected to him.
Yeah.
And I said, can you send me some of those?
Absolutely.
And he has thousands of veterans now. So
Really?
they started sending them to me. So I went to Etsy and ordered this. And they gave me this bland looking thing. So I went to Home Depot and I stained it myself. Anyway, so Edson Arsoon has, this is Edson right here. So some students from Roosevelt High came here
That's doing it?
recently,
Yeah.
and they're gonna put this digitally, where they're updating everything.
Mhm.
They're putting these things in digital now.
Right.
So Mr. Benny said in each room, something should be rolling so that, anybody that
Right.
visits. So what I did is I went through each branch of the government, and this is new, so I'm still waiting for people to still send their profiles.
These are all Garifuna.
Garifuna people.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Military.
And you know, Sis, Excellency, it is known that during the World War,
Mhm.
that Garifuna people were used
Mhm.
to give codes in the war
Participating.
to divert the enemy.
Right.
So yes, so Garifuna language,
Yeah.
yes, was used because not
Wow.
anybody knew Garifuna, so it was Garifuna
See,
who
I had
did
to
the
write that
diversionary.
It's like the Navajo speakers.
Yes, yes.
Recognize.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Wow.
yes.
A lot of them went from Dangriga,
Yes.
PG, and Barranco. Right.
Yes,
To
yes.
participate in.
So we're still waiting for more
That's
different,
amazing.
yes, different branches of the US, and for them to send it to us. We want to make this more presentable, so it's not so difficult to turn. When people come through that work in libraries, they give me ideas and things like that. Digital seemed to be the
That's the latest
best way to
thing,
go.
yeah.
Beautiful.
All the branches, oh my
Mhm.
goodness.
And we have some CIA and FBI.
All right.
So, you know,
I mean, you know,
so
why
in
not?
our history, we've had a lot of, I have to show you the garment that the Wanarawa dancers were wearing. And you might know him. That's Reverend Jairus Valentine. He made the book, Garifuna Thoughts of Dying, something like
Yeah,
that.
spirituality, yes.
This is Roy Cayetano, the one that made the
Yes, yeah,
dictionary in
yeah.
there. So when it happened, a young lady saw me on Ancestry.com,
Mhm.
and she's like a cousin. She flew here from Minnesota. I called Ruby, and her cousin had to do something with him.
Mhm.
So he said, "That's my daughter." He goes, "Well, who are you?"
Yeah.
So apparently, when I believe it was 800 800 Belizeans were used here in the war in 1944, he had a son. And this was the daughter of that son. So she's looking for him. He said, "I got a brother." They found a new brother, 72 years old. That's their baby brother.
Oh my God.
So they all said he came from Belize. This is their new brother right here. The
Yeah.
sister and brothers all came here to see him.
Wow.
Wow.
And then he died the next year.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so she found her dad here through
Wow.
going through Reuben. Reuben has like 6,000 people on his ancestry of Garifuna people. We're all connected. Other thing I want to say, it was started from the other room. With us all having Spanish, my mother was Martinez. And what's your last name?
Ellis.
Video.
Patillo. See,
Patillo.
all of us had like Spanish names. How did we get that? So since Santos Centeno came here, he was taking the our history, how each village was started, and he said that when they exiled us here, the Spanish wanted to baptize us.
Yeah.
So they weren't gonna deal with those names, so they gave us Spanish
Oh, they
names.
do that
So that's how that happened. So,
Everywhere.
Mr. So anyway, Mr. Benny says, he said he does not want just the Garifuna, he want any indigenous group represented here. So things are gonna be growing.
Exactly.
So he gave us this about the borders, and because it's not only Mexicans that are trying to come on the borders, and so he gave us this. We don't have enough room for all the heroes, so some of them that this is Ruben, the founder. So anyway, the extra explanation and descriptions we put in here, okay? And we also have a section for those that have been fighting for the Garifuna cause. Okay, before we do that, this young man is Labriel. He played for his guitar for Van Morrison. Van Morrison and Stevie Wonder, all the big ones up here is all listed. Okay, and he lives in Mexico. Okay, so a lot of people have been killed. This one young lady, she was on her land in Honduras, in Mosca. And, that's Saraba, that's for the Garifuna cuisine on the truck. On the truck. Okay,
We're
so.
going to the blue hole, right?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Stop the assassins, all these people have passed away.
Yeah.
There, 9 women were killed for the Garifuna cause, they're trying to still take the land.
Yeah.
So this one young lady, her name is
Where's the 9 women?
We don't have the 9 women.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But the
this year,
European-
this is an
the
older
Europe-
picture.
This year 9
European
women were
Union-
killed?
Yes.
The
This year.
European Union protested, and governments, government of Belize and others have asked Honduras to consider desisting from this murdering of people.
Yes.
Well, Honduras is
So-
a pretty dangerous place.
This
Now
young-
they have a woman president in Honduras now.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Really?
Right?
Yes,
They
we
do,
do.
yeah.
Okay.
Two
So
weeks
this
ago.
is Myrna that was dancing on the newscast. And she says, you don't take my land. She goes, you've been trying to take my life. And they came and they killed her.
Yeah.
This is another lady that was killed. So,
Guatemala too.
oh yeah, it's really hard. Now, the Myrna, I do have her picture. They busted through her house in Moscow, Moab, and shot her 26 times. So I do have the picture here. It's very gross. Her brains are on the floor. I don't know.
Oh, we don't need to
No.
see that.
Okay.
We don't need to see that.
So-
Well, you know what? I
Cynthia?
never know.
No.
Yeah, because it's real.
It needs
It's
to be
real.
documented.
This happened in
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, so you
Yeah,
knew about
Honduras,
it.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the Honduran
ancestor
delegation
She's an
also
ancestor
recently
now.
went to England.
Yeah.
We
She can be
discovered
honored.
that Garifuna were taken to England and incarcerated.
Mm.
So they did a pilgrimage there recently and asked for repatriation
Mhm,
and
mhm.
that acknowledge that fact.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we need to also remember that Balisu,
Mm-hmm.
which one they have for sale? They
No,
want
they still
to
have
sell.
for sale. They want 30
What?
million for
Sell
it.
that sacred space. So
Mm.
we are on a campaign. No.
To protect it, yeah.
Exactly.
We're not, that's
So
not
I
for sale.
believe Mr. Alfonso had.
Right.
something.
Now, Your Excellency,
Yes,
I also want to show you this jet fighter
yes.
driven by a Garifuna too.
Where is that?
That's in not too far from Washington,
Yeah.
right? And they even call the man Loco, and his name is Major Paul Lopez.
Lopez.
Right. Well, he was able to again maneuver with that
I want to see.
right jet fighter.
This is so
Yeah.
great.
Different moves.
This is just amazing. I think we've got a good.
Idea what we have.
So, the last thing I wanna tell you just about the Wanarva, warrior out here. And then we'll be done.
Okay.
And then I forgot my phone. Do you mind bringing my phone? Notebook? Okay. I'm gonna show him. So, what had happened, we were about to be annihilated in Urume. And one of the warriors came to his wife and he said, we're in a dire strait. She said, why don't you wear my dress? They're not attacking the women. So, cut a long story short, so they put on the dress. And so, since they're men, they can't call each other to tell their location. So, they hide their Adam's apple with the scarf. And then to speak to each other, that's why you saw them dancing in there, that they do with the shells so that they can get each other's location. And that's how they were able to get closer to the British to fight them back.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah, that's not the staff either. This is more of a spear.
No, the stuff that I have is different. I'll show you.
Well, I have my machete around here because
Everybody in Belize has a machete.
no, everybody in Central America. So that would be our presentation. Well, thank you for doing the tour today. And I wanted to get your feedback. What do you think about the Garifuna Museum of Los Angeles?
Well, it's more than just informative. I mean, it really tells the history of the Garifuna people throughout the diaspora, but particularly in Belize. It's a wonderful museum. I would encourage everyone to visit this slice of Garifuna history that is really well presented, thoroughly documented, and with delightful Garifuna people managing it to give you really an experience that really is very worthwhile to learn about that fantastic culture.
Okay, we have Cynthia Ellis here, and we'd like to know your opinion of the tour today.
Right, as my Garifuna name, Lubafu Isieni, and as Ambassador at Large for the Garifuna Nation, this has been a proud moment, ambassador to ambassador,
Yes.
Excellent.
to showcase who we are as a people. And I really have been very impressed with everything. Ever since I came, I've seen a lot of improvements and development. And I think we have a lot to share with the world. I want to thank you, Niduhe, for giving us this special gift of being able to connect with the world, especially here in the United States. And I am sure that the Ahari are smiling. For those who don't know what Ahari means, the spirit of our ancestors, the divine calling to which we have all been obedient. And I am sure that as we step in to the water and walk on the water, because that's what we're doing, we are setting the pace for our children and our grandchildren, developing a powerful succession strategy as was done for us. Seremeni, thanks be to you.
And
so
me for you, and you for me.
Can somebody film me? I just want to
Yeah, one more person.
I hope you at that time the Governor General said, you don't hug the Governor General.
Yeah, very formal.
Yes, that's what he would say, you
He
know.
likes hugs.
Yeah, he likes.
Well, I just wanted to
Oh,
say,
no.
Your
Really?
Excellency,
Thank you so much.
Excellency Carlos
Moreno.
Moreno, yes. On behalf of the Garifuna Museum of Los Angeles, we have a mug in here, and it's with the Garifuna emblem on it. And also we have a USB so that you could see just a little taste of how the museum started. It's on a USB. And
Well, thank you so much.
we sent you that.
Wow.
Thank you for coming.
All right. Let's send more people out here.
Thank you for taking the tour today, and we're talking to the president of the Garifuna Nation, Egbert Higinio. How did you feel about your tour today?
I feel very full, very fulfilled. It's very impressive the way you have it set up. at the entrance. You know, we are greeted by the Wanaraga, the warrior here, and then we have a layout of the map of all of our communities in Central America. So I'm very, well fulfilled and how it's all set up. And I encourage more Garifuna young people to come, and so they could learn the depth of our history and the meaning of our culture. That we need to keep up the good work. Cynthia, very much.
Thank you very much.
For Your Excellency. These are the bitter herbs, healing herbs
Shall we hold it?
of Belize.
We're going to do the
Calabash.
Wow.
All right, no problem. Salud.
I think there's alcohol involved.
Rum. You're gonna feel it.
Ah,
It's good for
that
whatever.
will heal you now.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
sorry.
No, you're good. But I would like to, it's like how, people say it's a toast, but in
Toast,
Garifuna,
right.
it's not toast. We remember our ancestors, and you call the names of those who came before, who gave their lives, who gave us the strength, who gave us the courage, who gave us the direction, and who are still here with us.
Yes.
Itarala.
Tyler.
I need to drink my beverage.
I give that to my grandmother, Maria
You wanna
Santina,
hit the calabash, the Rita.
and my mother.
Salud,
grandfather.
Salud.
Salud.
Bless everybody that entered this museum.
Yes, salud,
Real
salud, salud.
Ancestors, first and foremost.
Divine call.
Oh, right, salud.
Don't
Let's
forget
go.
the
Oh my
cameraman.
God.
Yo, come here, man. Oh,
That's why I came to the United States.
Come here, man.
Excellence. I was in the Dapuya back for a year,
This out,
and I got the call to come to the United States. Oh, wow. So here we are.
You do a lot of good.
Here we are.
Good representative.
oh,
I have something for you, sis.
Cynthia.
You do? Thank you, sister.
I have something from, I met Ambassador to a project of the rainforest.
The rainforest?
Yes,
The
Alkalar.
Amazon?
Alkalar. 5,000 acres within a pristine rainforest with archaeological sites.
Is this a ticket to go?
Kind of buy it free. Okay. I'm
The
looking for
population
it
is
now.
low.
Please, the two posters, please. So I'll still give you this, which is, I was trying to take off. I was trying to take off the wax. Remember, I had it on my altar,
Yes.
but I did it and it tore a little. But I know you will know what to do with that.
Yes, I will.
Okay, so I got that from Garifuna.
Oh,
That
thank
is a
you.
special, all the people of the resistance, the marinage.
Want to
Yes.
put it on camera, hang it.
We are the ones
Mm-hmm.
who have this fabric, and this fabric are not accidental, right?
Yes.
So I want to give this to you. It came from
Thank you.
a network of South America, because they and then I would like to give you, this is the Alkalar Archaeological Site Rainforest.
Oh.
It's 5,000 acres of pristine rainforest, where we have archaeology under the canopy, where we have gifts, treasures for food, for medicine, for construction. And Garifuna are also knowledgeable about this forest garden. So as indigenous people, we're connecting with the Maya. So I want to give you two of these.
Yes,
I
thank
work
you.
with Dr. Annabelle Ford, and Dr. Joseph Palacio was one of the pioneers of, he was the first archaeological commissioner for Belize. Garifuna. He's Garifuna, the first Belizean.
And from Barranco. too.
And from Barranco.
We have him on our
Yeah, and
heroes.
and then I'll give you a postcard.
Okay, you
We
wanna
have
sit
a
it
postcard.
up so the camera can see? You can put it right here. on the
Contact
table.
information is on the back.
Okay.
So I'll give
Thank
each
you.
person who is here a
Yes.
postcard. And I think those are the gifts.
Wow, wow.
Ambassador, you can get another. I'm sure you have
Thank
several.
you so
But he took
much.
his entire staff. I took him on a tour with his entire, him and his staff into the rainforest.
Yeah.
And the other part of it, because it's a shared resource
Mm-hmm.
for Belize and Guatemala,
Guatemala, borders Guatemala.
right?
Very large,
Beautiful.
civilization.
I mean, like gorgeous. It's like just like heaven on earth, paradise. And Fermin, our zoo,
Mm-hmm.
and
From
visit.
Labuga.
I took him. We went meet the archaeologist who I
Yes.
work with,
Yes.
Dr. Annabelle Ford. We went to Labuga and we met him.
Yes,
And he just took one look at the postcard
yes.
and he said, "We are going to work together
Beautiful.
because it's a shared resource in two countries,
Mm.
5,000 acres." And what we are doing is changing the narrative. We are not
Yes.
poor. We are wealthy people. This is wealth untold.
Well,